Imagine a young woman walking onto a stage in a crowded auditorium, not with the confidence of a trained performer, but with the quiet, trembling determination of someone carrying the weight of her mother's entire life on her shoulders. When the judges ask her why she deserves to win, she doesn't talk about her own dreams. Instead, she pulls a worn, faded photograph from her pocket, a picture of a woman in a white apron, standing outside a foreign house, and says, "This is my mother. She raised me through letters and remittances. Tonight, I am not just singing for myself. I am singing to restore her dignity." Before she even utters a single note of her song, you can see the judges reach for their tissues. Maria was 17 years old when she first stepped onto the stage of a major national talent competition, a tiny girl with calloused hands that looked more suited to scrubbing floors than playing the violin. She was the daughter of Luz Viminda, a Filipina domestic helper who had spent 18 years working in Kuwait and Hong Kong, cleaning the homes of strangers so that Maria could have a shot at an education. Maria grew up knowing her mother mostly through the scratchy voice on weekly phone calls and the crisp bills that arrived in brown envelopes every month. She lived with her Lola in a small barrio in the Philippines, and while other children ran home to their mothers after school, Maria ran home to write letters to a woman she feared she was slowly forgetting. Her only connection to Luz Viminda was an old violin her mother had sent home on her 5th birthday, bought from a second-hand shop in Kowloon. It was a cheap instrument, but Maria treated it like a holy relic. She taught herself to play, filling the silence left by her mother's absence with music. The first twist in the story came when Maria decided to audition for the competition. She needed a signature piece, something that would make her stand out. She composed a song based on the letters her mother sent, but she knew that a simple ballad might not be enough. She needed to show the depth of the sacrifice. Unbeknownst to her mother, who was still working abroad, Maria applied for a visa and flew to the city where her mother worked. She wanted to surprise her, to see her world. But the reality she walked into was harsher than she ever imagined. She expected to find her mother in a comfortable home. Instead, she found Luz Viminda living in a tiny, windowless room the size of a closet, sharing a bathroom with 5 other workers. On the night before the final audition, Maria secretly filmed her mother coming home after a 16-hour day, exhausted, her knees swollen from kneeling to polish floors. She watched her mother pull out a faded photograph of Maria, kiss it, and whisper a prayer for her safety. Maria captured it all on her phone, the raw, unfiltered truth of what sacrifice really meant. The second twist occurred on the night of the competition. The auditorium was packed, and millions watched at home. Maria walked out in a simple white dress, her hair pulled back, clutching her second-hand violin. The judges, accustomed to flashy performances and pop vocals, looked skeptical. One judge even leaned over to whisper, "Another sad story, probably." But Maria didn't start with a sad song. She started with a video. She played the footage she had secretly taken of her mother the night before. The audience fell silent as they watched Luz Viminda struggle to climb onto a bed, wincing in pain. They heard her whisper, "Lord, ingatan mo ang aking anak, Lord, protect my child." By the time the video ended and Maria raised her violin to play the soaring, heartbreaking melody she had composed, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. She played with a fury and a passion that seemed impossible for someone so young. She played the loneliness of birthdays without her mother, the sound of rain on a tin roof when she was scared, and the sound of her mother's voice telling her to be brave. But the biggest twist was yet to come. As she finished the piece, the lead judge, a famously stern and critical music producer, stood up. He wasn't clapping. He was staring past Maria, toward the back of the stage. The stage manager rushed over and whispered something to Maria. Confused, she turned around. Walking slowly onto the stage, helped by a production assistant, was Luz Viminda. She was still wearing her simple blouse and long skirt, her hair streaked with gray, her face lined with exhaustion. The production team, moved by the video, had tracked her down in that tiny room and flown her in as a surprise. Maria dropped her violin bow with a clatter and ran into her mother's arms. They held each other, sobbing, as the audience gave them a standing ovation that lasted for 5 minutes. The judges were openly weeping, dabbing their eyes with handkerchiefs. The stern judge, his voice cracking, said, "We judge talent. But tonight, we witnessed love. And love is the highest art form there is." Maria won the competition, of course. But the prize money wasn't what mattered. What mattered was that for the first time in 18 years, Luzviminda didn't have to go back to scrubbing floors. She came home to stay, carried there by the music her daughter learned to play on a dusty old violin. Thank you for watching this story of sacrifice and love. We would love to know where you are joining us from today. Please tell us in the comments below, from which part of the country are you watching this video.